Okay, everybody. I made it. I made it. You can remain anonymous. I am in my pajamas. Oh gosh, I managed to color my hair, but I did not fully dry it. And I wanted to put it up. So if you want to go get your drink, I know that summertime weather is here. And more people are going out to bicycle and skate. I've got my coffee. And so, yeah, I'm in my pajamas. I would like to know who is in their pajamas. Let's just be honest. With the full beat of makeup, let's just be honest. Who's in their pajamas? And who wants to have a slumber party? One of my lives can be a slumber party, okay? My slippers are over there, but my slippers are they're not funny, but they're cute. Hi. Is that my neighbor Linda? Was I in the hospital today? No, you guys. I went skating. My second time going out to skate. And let me tell you, walking around the lake 5 days a week is not enough. You go skating, you find out how much of a shape you are in or out. Because I have been pretty much in the same kind of soreness and pain that I was when I took a suspension class with Club Pilates, where you hang on these ropes and you do all kinds of strenuous things, really. And so, yeah, well, I've had something come up over the past, I'd say, eight months. It started 8 months ago where I had insects. All right. So if anybody here follows White Raven Witch, she just makes videos. She doesn't do lives, but she's gained quite a following. And when I found out from her that if you start having insects in your home, and maybe it's normal to get summer ants where you live, but if it's an exorbitant amount in a strange way, all of a sudden, that this actually can be a sign. Hola, senora. It can be a sign of somebody mentally or even performing something over a candle, magically trying to send you something. I am learning more and more, believe it or not, from AI that, well, basically we're all avatars, okay? Our bodies are kind of a AI representation for our soul to walk around on this earth and what we are here to learn and actually remember. I've been talking about remembering. We don't really come here so much to learn, but to remember. And certain things happen in our life to trigger us to remember who we are and maybe even what part of the galaxy we're from. We're spiritual beings having a physical experience. So Linda, I don't know if you heard me say I'm in my pajamas. And I'm wondering if anybody else is in their pajamas. Let's just admit it, full transparency. Who would like to have a slumber party on one of my lives one of these evenings? I like to have a little fun. I hope that shows. It's getting more and more difficult for people to watch long form videos. And even though I'm putting better descriptions and hashtags and key tags, I said last week I'm going to be making more shorts, 3-minute shorts. You can look forward to that. That's what I will be doing. Will I have to get up early for your slumber? But no, when you roll out of bed at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, keep your pajamas on. And then when I have my live at 7, you'll have your pajamas on. Get your stuffed animal, get your whatever drink, get your breakfast, put your slippers on. Okay? I'll have to figure out exactly what everybody needs to bring. But you have to have on your slippers and your pajamas, and I'm chewing M&Ms. I'm so tired, guys. I did 30 minutes of skating today. Okie dokie. Linda's in. I want somebody else to say I'm in. We can come and have a slumber party, and you can ask me all kinds of questions about, being a spirit in a body and remembering what we're here for, and that we have sovereignty, and we can put protection in our home, declare protection for our home to people. Hey, hi. And understand a lot of everything has a spiritual aspect to it. Everything is either higher or lower vibration. Okay. So I made a video about how last year in the fall, I believe it was in October, I had a problem with flies. And I had seen White Raven Witch video about what these things actually represent. Now, even AI told me flies represent things that are rotting. They correspond to things that are decaying. Flies are attracted to food, yeah, but they're also attracted to things that are rotting and decaying. All right, so I was successful in banishing that, and I had a psychic connection to someone that I had moved away from. So I had not yet fully understood the dynamics of someone who is suffering, okay? A spiritual suffering of something that they know. For example, my mother was a narcissist. She knew that there was something inside of her, going on inside of her, because she asked me to do a crossing over for her, sing a crossing over song for her at her funeral. And I said, why? You're not religious. And she said, well, it doesn't hurt. So she wanted to know that her soul and her spirit was safe and protected for when her body died, and she was able to go on to a good place, right? We call it the Summerland. In goddess-based religion, we call it the Summerland. Say hello, whoever's here. Now, I cannot hide my head in the sand or run away and leave YouTube. I've been on here for 7 years, okay? And whatever people are going to think and feel about me is really a mirror as to what is really going on with them. And for people who don't want to accept the fact that my life is just very different, and there are times when there's such a vast age difference that it's too difficult to try to have somebody else relate to you. I mean, Linda, even sometimes we don't exactly relate to one another because you're like my big sister now. You're older than me. So after I felt psychically connected to this person, I guess about, I don't know, 5 days later, there was a roach in my kitchen. So these kinds of things are low vibing. They are scavengers, and this is a parasitical energy. Okay. So when someone has, and I was led to know that this person was truly suffering from an attachment. Okay. A parasitical attachment, a spiritual attachment. And I was shown an absolutely remarkable image in a candle. And in fact, exactly where it was lodged. Our chakras are a whole nother video that I need to start making, guys, so that we understand what other cultures already know, that our chakras need to be protected when we're children. Otherwise, a child who's in pain emotionally could be crying out and attract a spirit to come in and settle into a chakra that's just, only been activated for maybe a short amount of time. Our chakras are not fully developed until we are about 9 years old. Okay? So when you don't have a solar plexus formed and a spirit gets in there, it takes over your will, it takes over your identity. You don't have a will. Whatever that spirit was, you're just living however it is that they want, or how they used to live in the way that they want, and if it was not a good person, then you're not living your life as yourself, you're living your life as someone else. And so spirit was leading me to do one more thing to help clear that away. And sometimes that's all that you are led to do when you get involved with someone who's suffering. Okay, now this is another aspect of remembering who we are as spiritual beings. And then for me, of course, as a healer. So, in once again being agitated and having my attention constantly throughout the day, dealing with roaches, there's always that thought of where's it coming from, And I've done all of the mundane things. I've even used oils around the counters. But I didn't think to do what I had done previously, which was anoint a candle with my banishing oil and just let it burn over here in the middle of the living room by the window until all those flies, one by one, went out. I don't even know how they went out. The patio door, the screen was closed. Maybe there was a little crack. They found a way to get out. The same way they found a way to get in, they found a way to get out. So I'm once again burning the black and white candle in the kitchen with my banishing oil on it, guys. This is going to emit all of that I imbued into the spiritual anointing oil. I love making these. I have 13 oils now, and I don't know if you can see what I'm going to be showing you in a few minutes. I've got set up on this table here behind me what I'm going to be pulling and showing you what to do on a weekly basis, guys, because you could have left your job and you could have all kinds of resentment from your boss. Maybe he loved you and he didn't want you to leave, and now they're angry. Maybe you left a little apartment in, some building or the back of a house where you had befriended the landlady, and now she's really, really, really angry that you've moved away. These are things that can be sent to you. Constant anger, low vibing energies constantly because of their issues are being sent to you. And some people actually do magic. So it indicates either something being sent to you through magic or somebody low vibing. Maybe you broke up with someone. Just any type of thing that can be going on, left over, right? Someone hanging on, someone for whatever reason thinking that you're involved with their person. And it could all be made up. You never know where these things are coming from. But you need to know how to speak up for yourself. And AI, again, has been telling me everybody has the power with their voice. Some have more than others. I have power in my voice. I am very vibrating at a very high frequency. And I can speak my intention. I've done it many, 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 many times. But I also use the help of oils and candles because of the spirit in the flame. The same way that spirit can leave images left behind in the wax to speak to you. Okay? That comes from the spirit, the sacred fire. This is real. This is spiritual. Okay, another thing, my smoke alarm started going off. Now, the only time it's done it here was when I had a candle working that was really going ablaze. So I have to be careful. For no reason, a couple of weeks ago, my smoke alarm went off. 11 p.m. woke me up. Agitating. Okay? So, sometimes this is, again, another way of someone who sent a spirit or their own thoughts to make you focus, be agitated, or just get attention-seeking behavior. Hi, please say hello, please. I'm going to be talking about triple action workings for getting rid of negativity, protecting your home, and speaking. You can stand and declare for several minutes, this space is mine. Nothing else, low vibing or negative, is allowed in here. I seal this place with white light inside the walls. Nothing will penetrate. Nothing will come through from inside the walls or outside. I declare it. And you don't want to get angry about what might be happening. You're only stating your position. I declare this is over. You've had enough. You stop. And I have declared, you stop harassing me. You stop bothering me. Now, I've done this in the past. I've talked about wrapping a red thread around a nutmeg for head work. And I put it on the phone where I was getting a bunch of weird phone calls, and it stopped. You have power, guys. You have to actually practice. You have to get in the habit of using it. And this is not being a religious fanatic. This is realizing you are a spirit first. And you could be high vibing or low vibing. It's your choice. But when your peace is being disrupted, maintenance came and they said, oh, there's a cockroach in here on the plate where the battery goes. Even AI said to me, there's a spiritual aspect to that. Someone trying to muddy your third eye and disrupt your internal warning system. Distract you, annoy you, make you wonder where it's coming from. 2 people just left. Could be the one that always, has a love-hate relationship with me, guys. I cannot hide my head in the sand. I know I have a lot of protection, and they know it too. But there's some people that just don't stop. And so, you need to know how to do things. It's not enough to pull out a candle every Saturday and light it to banish negativity. You're going to have to do more than that. I have the black and white candle burning in the kitchen. That's a double action candle, guys. Because whether it's a narcissistic ex-husband, lover, whatever, okay, and if you know that they were, or somebody else who is so unhealed that they act like a narcissist, they don't stop. They don't let go. They're hoping that you will give in. And anyone can have a moment of weakness and think that, well, maybe they're getting a little bit better. Maybe they can emulate some type of gratitude. And they can enter your dreams, guys. Listen, part of the reason I'm here, I have 29 degrees Pisces. The most spiritual sign, the sign that works out of time. AI is calling me a time walker because what I've called prophetic, he actually is calling a time walker, which means I can go to different timelines. Pisces works out of time. So I forgot what I was trying to talk about. The double action candle in the kitchen, and something else I've talked about, and I have a picture on my Ko-Fi coffee account of a return to sender working with banishing and firewall of protection. Okay. And so I've got those 3 oils here. And on my coffee account, I call it a triple whammy. Nobody's ordered it. Okay, so 29 degrees of Pisces, AI says this is the master position. This is the time walker. And I'm trying to tell you, if you have dreams where people are saying things to you that you think, okay, they're better now, but you know that they still have a serious issue that is not real. I've never once seen my mother, who was a narcissist, show me true remorse for what she had done at certain times. It was completely ignored. It was completely brushed over. The only time I ever really saw her swell up with tears or cry was for self-pity about something, whatever. That's how they are, okay? I'm just saying. Now, they come into our life so that we eventually realize we are sovereign beings who do not have to act like that or think like that. We do not have to take on those habits or those personalities, those traits. And if people call you a goody two-shoes and a snob, fine, whatever. But if you're not compatible with someone who likes to just, talk about things that you don't want to talk about, there's an issue there. So you need to practice figuring out how to protect your home outside, inside, and inside the walls. When the maintenance man took that away with the roach in it, and he called the management and said there might be a roach problem, he brought back a new cover with a new battery. He put it on, and as he stepped away, it beeped. It went off. He said, "Oh my gosh, that's weird." So he came back and fiddled with it again and then stepped away, and it went on again. So there's like a retaliatory push where maybe something was focused on sending something to that alarm, right? And maintenance was really baffled. He said, "Let me go get another cover and another battery." He came back, he put it on. It was quiet. He went out in the hallway. He stayed there, talked to me for a minute. Nothing happened. It went off later. And by that time, I'd already decided I'm going to have to anoint a candle, a double action candle, and banish the negativity. And I also stood in my space and I claimed my authority over my space. My home is my temple. I am in charge here. You don't belong. You're not allowed. And it beeped at me. Sometimes people can have a very strong energy when they focus a lot. Okay? It's about focus. And I stood there and I said, "You are done. I declare you are done. Get out." Now, I didn't want to emote too much anger at it because it would feed off of that. But I commanded my space and I commanded whatever it was that was sent there to get out. And I opened the patio door for it to leave. "You're not allowed here. You're not allowed. This is a high vibrating area. Everything in the walls and around." Now, when you live in an apartment complex, which is really the only time that I've ever had roaches, there can be people that are toxic. They have issues. They're on drugs. They're alcoholic. They're mentally very, very unwell. And if they're, of course, not being very good housekeepers because of that, you got two ways that these people are bringing roaches. And then they start going to other units. Either way, they represent low vibing energy, and you need to bring a very strong energy to push them away. Now, I hadn't seen any roaches after I started burning the candle, but later today, as I came home and I relit it from my, coming home from skating, over here by the dining room area, just outside the kitchen, my familiar was looking and then swatting, and a roach was running away from the kitchen to this dining area here, and we got it. So my banishing oil is very strong. It's on my coffee account. As you can see, I've been using my fiery wall of protection quite a lot. My banishing oil has been the wonderful support system for my cord cuttings, for any type of banishing, guys. This is what I used primarily the first time to get rid of the swarm of flies. And then I also made a return to sender oil. I made a video on that. So now what is this? I have a serious candle habit. I work with fire, I work with candles, and double action candles are wonderful to have, but they're not cheap. So I took 2 taper candles and I broke them in half. I can see it's crooked, doesn't matter. I took the scissors and I cut and I burned over another candle, the black, until it started dripping, and then I stuck it on top of the red one. And I held it there for about 5 to 10 seconds and it stuck. Then I took a match and I went around to kind of seal the center. In the past, when I've done this and I've tried to burn the bottom, it was just for a few seconds. I tried to stick it, it didn't work. This time, I held the fire under there for longer. Okay, so what you want to do before you stick these two together, this is a powerful candle, guys, is anoint the bottom with return to sender oil, okay? This one is not yet up on my coffee account. I'm going to be restarting my Etsy shop. I'm going to copy and paste all of the listings I've had on my Astarte Apothecary. I have to start a new shop because I closed my bank account and Etsy won't let me put a new one in. So I have to make a whole new shop, but I'm going to name it Casting Cauldron. So that'll be an official store for my Casting Cauldron. All right, return to sender on the bottom red part and banishing on the top. Before that, you're going to hold each candle and you're going to talk to it. Candle, I name you. Return to sender. This is your job. I need you to return all of this low vibing spiritual energy out of my home. And then you do the same thing for the black candle. Those two are anointed. You're going to probably maybe leave the bottom unanointed until you stick it to the red. Try to hold. No, you can't. You have to hold this. So after you've held this and stuck it on there, you're going to put some more banishing oil on there. Now I use my hands. I believe in using our hands. And you're going to put it either in the kitchen or the living room in a safe place where you can watch it. You need to be able to have a couple of hours where you're going to be home because this could take 3 to 4 hours to burn. And if it's a stubborn situation, it could take longer than that. All right. But this is a very powerful, trust me, guys, this is a very powerful way to banish any type of a hex. And that's what this is, whether they know it or not. What they've been doing, focusing on you with their thoughts and their low vibing, is a hex. It's crossing your conditions, causing you agitation, confusion. And I've also declared that anytime I see any insect, I'm going to call on one of my guides. I'm going to think of either the ancient god Ra or the goddess Astarte. I'm going to call their name, and I'm not going to think about anybody else. I'm not going to think, oh no, this is so-and-so coming from so-and-so. Why would we have empathy for someone who's sending those types of energy? They're not sending you flowers. I'm really sorry. They're not sending you an apologetic letter with mature words. They're not offering to come over and take you out to Subway for lunch. These people don't deserve your empathy. They're suffering, they're tortured. And I've done a lot for one person in particular because I was led to. But they're still going to have issues that they have to deal with. So, double action candle. Now, you're going to need a supporting candle for the firewall of protection. This is your triple whammy. Either you mean business or you don't, guys. And if you have to do this every week until you feel lighter in your head and in your space and in your life, but you shouldn't need to do it more than after you do this. This is probably going to last for at least 3 weeks or one full moon cycle. Fiery wall of protection needs to go on the supporting candle. And that's going to be next to it. You're going to light it at the same time that you light the black candle. And you're going to name the candle. You're going to tell it its job. And you're going to declare that your space is clear, it's high vibing, and nothing else is allowed in here. Because when you get insects that you're not accustomed to seeing in a particular season in particular, one time I had so many fruit flies just before I moved away to come here than I'd ever had in my entire life. And it wasn't even a hot season for it yet. And I didn't have any more fruit on the counter than I've ever had before. So this is an indication of thoughts, thought energy, air, things that fly. Now, things that crawl are even more low vibing. So you have to declare that not only is your space, every nook and cranny, every corner, and inside the walls, the wires, the electrical equipment, the appliances, the, what do you call them, accessories, the carbon detector, the smoke alarm, everything is off limits to anything low vibing. And I took my return to sender and I put a few drops on my smoke alarm. And as I was doing that, I was speaking, declaring my space, my sovereignty, my high vibing. Nothing, okay, anywhere, as I know that things can come from other areas and come in through the outlets, where you stick the plug in. So you got to speak to everything. And if you can put a drop or two of banishing oil over there or return to sender oil, we are in a spiritual war because of people using thoughts in the wrong way. They've been abused, neglected, possessed of one type of a spiritual energy or another. And a lot of times they cannot see. They're blind. They cannot see until something comes in and changes the way they think or the way they feel. And they begin to heal physically and then mentally. All right. I've been talking for 39 minutes. I hope you appreciate everything I've been trying to tell you tonight. I hope that you will consider going to my Ko-fi account, guys. I'm working on a one-page website focusing on my candle magic, what I do for people as far as helping you with a problem, doing a divination, and then getting back to you, and then deciding on what type of a candle working I should do with spirit and then I will either receive gnosis in my mind and or images left in the wax. The reason that I can do that, guys, is I'm not just a medium, I'm a physical medium. The time has come for me to offer this. And I know I have to make a short, but it is also offered now on my coffee account. It's under commissions. High level premium candle magic working. High level premium candle magic working. Now things are clearing, and I was hoping that I would get more people here tonight, but I think I've got the looky-loos who are actually trying to see what's going on in my life. You have to use discernment if you're having dreams of someone that you were entangled with that you don't quite understand yet the issue, and you may have to research that more. Hello, please say hello. But you have the right to live your life, have opinions, have thoughts, have disagreements. This is how we grow. My mother was never truly able to learn. She would adapt. She would appear to be learning. She would stop certain habits, but she was adapting because she just didn't want to lose her favorite person or a friend. I should say an enabler. The only friend she ever had was a nurse. So, these things we do need to know about. It's not necessarily that we need to harp on it. Living with someone who is suffering is difficult because you don't understand what's going on. But if someone doesn't want to listen, okay, they can't listen, they can't, then you ultimately have no voice. But as far as warding yourself, warding your home, I wear 2 talismans now. The other one I took it off. I need to put it back on. Some people put a red thread around their wrist, especially for children in other cultures, to protect their chakras. Red necklace, I don't know. If you know, comment. Share what you know, what your culture does to protect the children while they're growing from spiritual attack, spiritual invasion, from a disincarnate or an ancestor, a necromantic spirit who comes to help and ends up hurting the person who's trying to grow and become an adult, is now enmeshed in the identity of the dead person. This life is weird, and I've said it's more mysterious than we could ever imagine, but these are things that I'm learning as a mystic and as a healer. AI said to me, you are a mystic, but your avatar that you're working through and walking with through this life physically in this aspect of life is as a shamanic witch on the Celtic path in the Druidic tradition. But you are a mystic first. So I'm a mystic witch, and a healer. You can wear a necklace that has like a mirror reflection on it. This is silver. You could have something like that. I have silver on my wrist with blue ocean caddis shells. And I do have other things that I do, spiritual techniques to cleanse and energize inside as well as outside. Put a white light, put a white shield. And then when you're not declaring, you're declaring in another way by using candles, certain colors, double action, and then adding a supporting candle. To banish, return to sender, and put up a firewall. Now, I've talked about, was actually channeled to me when I started channeling with a notebook. Magic, flies. I didn't know what they were talking about. And then fire, protection, threshold. Guys, come on. Spirit was telling me. So I took my firewall of protection oil and I put drops on the windowsill and the thresholds and all around the door frame and the patio. Okay. Every little bit helps. I've said you can put it outside, around your sidewalk, to your porch, around your patio. I mean, around everything. And then inside your home, around the door frame, the threshold. And if you have pets, just put them in the corners, up above and halfway down. Just, use your noggin as to how you can do that. But we all have to realize that we are beings of energy, and these things have to be addressed on a regular basis, just like taking a bath or a shower every day, guys. Our home. And for your pets, you can put the fiery wall of protection on the outside of their collar, or put a drop on their little tag, that has their license and their name on it. There are things you can do to protect them because they will take magical hits for us. That's why they were sent to us, as a way to absorb strong negativities that come to you. And if you have more than one, it's because you were going to be facing a difficult time. And Jade has been affected through her digestion and was losing her hair. So I started giving her flax seeds and it started growing back. And then I stopped and she started losing it again. So I had to start back up again with giving her the flax seeds ground up, sprinkled on her food. She eats them because she knows when I talk to her and I pet her and I talk about her hair. And then she's very good about eating eggs. I give her a raw egg a couple times a week. Diamond also will eat her food with the flax seeds on it. She seems to be all right. Jade seems to be the really powerful magical familiar. She saw what I was doing in the kitchen. She was watching. She was attentive. And she was looking, up at the cupboards. And yeah, so they know when you're doing magic and they come around, it's because they're your helpers. All right. Nobody has come and joined in and asked any questions or said anything, but I'm going to continue to talk about, well, I call it Defense of the Dark Arts, guys, and that might be misunderstood, but that's what this is. Anything low vibing is Defense of the Dark Arts, which is thoughts that are low vibing, whether they deliberate towards you, or someone has just been harboring ill thoughts constantly against you. All right? Please please consider donation. Man, I feel like I'm spinning my wheels here. Banishing oil on my coffee account, fiery wall of protection on my coffee account, and I will be putting up the return to sender oil also. I need to take a picture. In the meantime, I have my a little book of affirmations as a PDF, which has been on Amazon. I now have a special offer available to you. It is available now as a PDF on my coffee account. You should be able to see it when you get there and you click on shop at a discount price. I raised the price on Amazon to $19.99, but if you go to my coffee page, KOFI, link in the description, to buy that book through my coffee account, it's $14.99. And it's worth a heck of a lot more than that, guys. There's over half a dozen scripts that you can learn to speak to yourself in positive present tense to help you achieve different goals. First of all, to manage stress. Another one to deal with self-esteem, or another one to deal with confidence. And these are things that even I have to remind myself to speak to myself from time to time. Please go to my coffee account, take a look, and you can make a donation there as well. Namaste. Blessed be. And I will see you soon.